Good evening, everybody. Can you all hear my voice? I hope you can. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear my voice. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I am so excited. This is our first time getting together all year. So for those who I haven't seen, Happy New Year. I know it's like, Shalonda, it's middle of February, but still, I haven't seen you and we haven't heard each other's voices. So Happy New Year. I hope this year is off to a great start for everybody, even though today was a little testy. I hope everybody's safe at home and their loved ones are safe. Um, and I'm just grateful to be here. I get so excited, just me and you talking, everybody, when I get a chance to be in the company of our wonderful district. So welcome, D4 family, District 4 family. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so much to share with you. It's so much going on. And this is the joy that I have, just to spend time with you all, just to hear feedback so you can keep me accountable and know what I'm up to. And so when someone asks, well, what's going on in your district? It's no second guessing, because we stay in communication and connected with each other. So before we get started with our before we get started for this evening, we are in a WebEx um, platform. And so we have some control, but I just want to set the environment. You know who I am. You know I'm a Southern girl. So we have guests with us today. I know District 4 family, we always treat our guests with respect and tactfully, even if we have questions that may be a little bit disagreeable, but we always work together with the common goal of serving and making North County better. And so our guests are here today to just share some of the things that will impact either all of North County, District 4, where we live, or even portions of it. And so we have with us today Ms. Jackie Wellington from the Port Authority. I know you're all excited. Always a chance to get feedback on that. We have Ms. Susan here from the Republic Waste Company. She will be giving us feedback on that as well. And then I will be giving feedback on ARPA funding. So we have a full agenda today. We're going to take that whole hour and 30 minutes. Hopefully we just spend about an hour on topics, and then we leave, if not 30 minutes, maybe more, for questions and interactions. So let me share this housekeeping tip with you before we jump in. So if you're only calling in, there is no way for us to unmute you so you can actually voice your questions or concerns. So what I need for you to do, if you are a call-in participant only, you will have to email us or give me a call and Shantae a call to share. I'm so sorry that we can't engage with you interactively live, but we will be able to get those questions answered and get them back to you. Those of us that are online and registered through the WebEx, if you have a questions, there's the chat. You can always put your questions in the chat box. And then Shantae will be facilitating asking those questions during Q&A. One other housekeeping tip. So we have our technician, Mr. John, and thank you so much, John, for being here. He will be trying to facilitate people moving around, and we're going to allow you to ask questions live. So again, be patient with us. Sit back. I hope you have your soda pop. I meant to grab me a Mountain Dew because y'all know I love Mountain Dew. But let's just sit back, have a conversation with each other about what's going on in our community. So without prolonging this, we're going to jump right in. So we're going to start off with our 2021 progress. And so, Trente, could you go to the next slide? Thank you so much. So for our 2021 progress, and I won't stay here long, everybody. So we did quite a bit of legislation. I didn't think I was going to jump in so hot and heavy my first year, but we did a cooling off period legislation. We had legislation where we talked about the Vaccination Incentive Program. And so let me put a kickstand there real quick. So the Vaccination Incentive Program, we started it late fall. And what it was to do was just another lever to get people engaged, to get informed, and to make a educated and informed decision on getting vaccinated. It was an incentive program to just do that, incentivize people to get vaccinated. Now, since the fall until now, so much has happened. I need to say this too. I'm sorry, everybody. Thank you for those who sent me Christmas greetings, for those who checked on me, because I had a bout with COVID. Thank you all for taking time out to just say, hey, Webb, how you doing? Shalonda, you good? I really appreciate that because you have your lives and you're busy. So thank you again for checking on me. And I meant to say that at the beginning, but I was so excited to jump in, I forgot to. But I want you to know I truly appreciate that personal connection I have with people that I serve, and that you care about my well-being. And that's not easily done. So I just want to let you know that I appreciate that. So back to the vaccination program. And so the vaccination program was to give an incentive for those who participated and got their vaccination through a county uh, supported vaccination event. Excuse me, I'm perspiring. In either case, that program ran from the fall and through the beginning of this year. I'm glad that program was there, because some people like to ask me, well, do you think the program was successful? Let me explain to you my definition of success. People may not agree with me, but this is my definition. If we save one life, it was worth it. If one person got to go back home to their family because they got vaccinated and so they didn't have an extreme case of COVID, it was worth it. It was worth it to me. See, we think it's just number games, but these are people's family members, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, grandmothers, grandfathers. And so there's no price tag you can put on my grandmother coming back home. There's no price tag that you can put on my husband coming, surviving a COVID bout. So again, that's my level of success. But we have metrics that also say that we were able to vaccinate more. Well, once the vaccination incentive program got started, over 3,000 people were vaccinated. Were there glitches? Yes. Was there slow to turn around cards? Yes, because we had to do a manual verification, and you had to get both vaccination shots in order to get the incentive. And so we worked through that. We learned, we pivot, we did better. But I'm grateful for your support, and I hope many of you got to benefit from it. So again, that program will be sunsetting at the end of this month in February. That doesn't mean we still won't be supporting vaccination and masks, but we just want you to know that that program has run its course. The numbers of pop-ups have dwindled. Pop-up vaccination sites have reduced greatly. And so I'm not afraid to pivot and be flexible and change. When you know differently, you do differently. When you know better, you do better. And so I believe that this program has definitely been a benefit, and I appreciate all of your support when I put forward this idea. We also had other legislation, and I won't go through each one of them as detailed, but we had the Crown Act's legislation was to help prevent discrimination based on hairstyles. And it's very pertinent to minority women and men. And so I was glad that we was able to put that forth. We had the heart stick method, and that was to help in the ACC community to ensure that we are using humane practices to actually have when we have to put our animals down. And so we passed that legislation as well. We also passed pay increases for the jail community or the Justice Center. There was a great need to ensure that we provided the support to the people that are looking at the residents at the jail center and making sure that they were taken care of. And at the same time that we showed Shantae is sending me text messages, everybody. Y'all know I'm very transparent. She's like, girl, hurry up, speed it up. So I will move along. But we did put that legislation to help those members of the St. Louis County employees get that increase as well. We gave increases also to other departments as well who asked for the pay incentives. And so, and lastly, we did two pieces of legislation. One was for the apprenticeship program. And I want us to be mindful of this because I want to do legislation that benefits back to community. Apprenticeship programs can help create a gateway to a different standard of living, a different opportunity in a career. So we put forth that legislation for the apprenticeship program, and I'm so grateful to my colleagues who supported it. In addition to that, we also did updates to the MWBE program, just to make sure that our minority and women-owned businesses have more opportunities to bid and benefit from county contracts and construction. And there's more work to be done there. So it's none of this, especially the apprenticeship program and the WBE program, it's not one and done. It's going to be additional refinements and additional improvements. And so I just want to hit that for a moment. I won't go through the resolutions. As you can see, I always encourage you all, everyone in the community, if you have someone working, it can be your neighbor, your church member, that they are pouring back into our community, they are sacrificing for our community. We want to acknowledge them, and those who have uh, paved the way for us to go forth in the future. We want to acknowledge them as well. So if you go to our county website and go to our district page, there is a link there where you can actually put forth the request for a resolution. And we want to acknowledge those who have poured back into us as individuals and our community. So again, I won't read all of those resolutions, but those are some that we put forth this week in 2021 as well. Next slide, Shante. All right, so let's look forward. And this is where I want to spend more of my time. And excuse me, everybody, I'm going to have to get something because these lights they have on me to make sure everybody can see me is burning me up. So in either case, I'll grab something really quickly. But progress going forth. And so we've done trash pickup days. We're going to continue to do those, but we also want to develop a program that will benefit everybody, that can be a long-term solution to some of the trash that we have in our community. In addition to that, we've had a community day in Castle Point. Yes, we are pouring. 2021, we poured into Castle Point, and we will continue to pour into Castle Point and other communities. We're going to take the things that we started and modeled in Castle Point, whether it be the lighting district, the empowerment house, a career community career fair. We want to take that model and we want to mimic it in other communities that need additional services, such as Glasgow. So we're going to continue to work in Castle Point and then expand going into other communities and giving that personal, consistent, persistent contact and engagement in that community. We did breakfast in Spanish Lake, and I've had an opportunity to work with that association time and time again, and I'm just so grateful how engaged they are, and I want to be engaged with more of our communities. And so please reach out, subdivisions, please reach out, associations, so we can partner, so we can work together. There are plenty of opportunities where we can actually have a chance to engage and improve our community relationships and making sure that the county government is serving them properly. We did a town hall with the police department, and thank you all so much who participated. I got lots of feedback that was an excellent town hall. Again, that's not a one and done. We're already starting to plan for 2022 and partnering with the police department and making sure that we start getting engaged in some of the new initiatives that the police department has to improve community relationships, whether it's with their partnership with the clergy or even putting more neighborhood resource officers in our community. So look forward to that in 2021. Look forward to more of that in 2022 as well. And again, we're just making sure that we're engaged in our community. So I want you to know, outside of legislation, that's my job, to put forth legislation that benefits our community, benefits the St. Louis County as a whole. But my passion, what makes me get up and keep doing this every morning and every day, it's the fact that I get to go in the community and I can help and serve that community to get more services, to get more engagement, and to make sure their standard of living is improved. So I look forward to more activities this year. Hopefully we have some fun activities this year as well that will span the whole district. Next slide, Chante. So with that being shared, what are our priorities going forth? And this is District 4 priorities. This is what you communicated to me is important to you. So I would not be here possibly if there was not a Jamestown Mall situation. And I just left a Port Authority meeting, and I think the chairman said, there is no lack of enthusiasm from Councilwoman Webb, because I'm not going away. It will just not happen passively. But what I'm grateful for is their partnership. And that's why we have a representative here with us today to discuss it further. Other priorities for us would be food insecurities. Partner with Evolve, an excellent grassroots organization, is about action and getting things done in the community. But they did an actual food audit of the food services in locations in our district. And in that food audit, they found where we are lacking, where there are gaps. And so we want to address those food insecurities and partner with others who want to address that as well. Reduction of crime. I remember last year, tons and tons of comments about COVID and other things. But what I always was saying is that we have to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. And that is important because we cannot ignore the fact that crime, it's not just in North County. Let's get real about that. It's everywhere. We have to focus and make sure that we reduce the crime in our area. Why? Because we want to continue to attract businesses. And please don't listen to those naysayers that say no one wants to develop in North County, because that is the furthest from the truth. We have a jewel here, but we do have to take care of our our issues as well. And like I say all the time, we all have a role in this. We all have some responsibility, and so we will be focusing on reduction of crime intentionally, and making sure we continue to work with Captain Cunningham from the First Precinct to make sure we are doing just that. And then not economic development. And all I want to say here is that we are in a point of time, I don't want to say make it so grand, but it is, where we have an opportunity for vision, with a vision, with people that want to make this difference and make the sacrifices to do and implement that vision. And most importantly, we have funds that's coming from all directions right now. But what we have to do is be positioned and work together collaboratively to make sure that we're ready when it's time to hit the ground running. Not getting ready, D4. Come on, D4 family. We got to be already ready. And so we're going to be working with continue to work with the Economic Development Partnership with Mr. Rodney Krim in the county. We're going to continue to work with our coalition of all those who want to develop in District 4, North County, bringing together a plan, a site plan of what we would like to see, pulling in all of the individual development so we can get a 40,000 foot view of what we have the potential to actually implement in this area. And then I want us to be realistic, not saying that we're settling, but we want to be realistic in making sure that this can materialize. And so this is an exciting time. I know you hear people say it all the time. It truly is an exciting time. And anytime I wake up out my sleep at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning because ideas keep running through my head and having to wake up and write them down so I won't forget them, that means that we have so much opportunity. So again, these are the things we will be focusing on in 2022. And I want you to be with me. There's going to be a link later. We have started our web force teams, but we still need plenty more people to sign up. So we'll talk about that in a moment. Next slide, Shante. So at this time, everybody, we have with us Ms. Jackie Wellington from the Port Authority. She has been working with us. She's been educating me from the day one. Before I even took office, I was bothering her with phone calls. And so she's always been so receptive. And she corrects me when I'm wrong and when I need to know more. So I'm so grateful to have Ms. Jackie Wellington representing the Port Authority with us today to talk about an update on Jamestown Mall. Ms. Wellington, are you ready?
I am, Councilwoman Webb. Well, first off, thank you for inviting me to come and represent the Port Authority to talk about Jamestown Mall yet again. I believe that the Port is taking aggressive actions to address the situation at Jamestown Mall. And this evening, I'll just talk about some of the things that are currently underway that will eventually impact the conditions on the particular site. The first thing I like to mention is that the Port Authority has issued a contract for the environmental remediation of the property. Before anything else can be done on that site, that building has to be cleaned of all environmental contamination. That work is anticipated to start next month, and it is a 9-month process in order to remove all of the contaminants from the property. So we're excited about the fact that the Port has allocated the funds for that and has issued that contract. So folks in the community should start to see some activity and contractors on the site within the next 30-45 days. In addition to the remediation activity that the Port Authority is currently undertaking, in order to address the concerns of the community from the 2 previous requests for proposals that were submitted before neither of which was approved or accepted by the community or the county council. The port decided to retain a consulting company to take a look at Jamestown Mall and the surrounding area and to perform a market analysis and feasibility study to provide them with information not only regarding what the market will bear, given where the property is located and how it's situated, but also to gain input from the community on like what they would like to see on the property. All of that will be synthesized in a report that'll basically talk about what is commercially viable for the site, taking into consideration the needs and the desires of the community surrounding Jamestown Mall. That project has already started. We're in the process now of creating a 15-member steering committee that will work with the planning team. That body will work very closely with them to make sure that information is disseminated to the community, as well as the planning team gets feedback from the larger community. That process actually is detailed in the report on the document that you see on the screen here. The consultants have prepared a brochure that explains the process. It explains what they're looking for and how they're going to go through it. It includes community engagement, the development of development principles, and the process where they'll go through in order to determine exactly what type of land use scenarios they will present back to the port. After that report is done, the Port Authority will probably look at issuing an additional request for proposals at some point in time in the future for development of the site, but we'll have that information so that we can make an informed decision about exactly what the community would like, coupled with what is actually feasible to occur on that site. That is a process that will probably take approximately 9 months. So it's going to run concurrently with the environmental remediation. So by the time we get the remediation done, we will have this report done. For those in the community that want to stay abreast of what's going on with that market analysis and feasibility study, there is a website that's being set up. It's www.imaginejamestownmall.com that you can access, where all of the activities and updates on that process will be populated on that site so that the community can stay aware of what's going on with that project. And we're also asking Councilwoman Webb if she'll put a link to those documents on her website so that you can easily access it from her website, and we thank her for that. One of the other things that the port is looking at is, in order to really understand what we're going to be dealing with that site, they would like to understand what the demolition actually would cost. Right now, there are no funds identified for the demolition of the building, but they want to know exactly what amount of money they should be looking for the demolition in the future. So to that effect, they have retained a consultant, and we're in the process of preparing demolition plans and specifications so that we can basically get a handle on exactly what that cost will be. So as we continue to move forward and look for funds for that, we'll at least have some parameters as to how much money we actually need in order to do the demolition on that site. In addition to those activities, we are also enhancing the security measures on the site and property maintenance. One of the real challenges that the port has had is basically keeping the site secure. We continuously have people trespassing on the site and conducting illegal activities on the site, as well as breaking into the building. And I would like to make a concrete statement that that building is very unsafe. When the previous owners of that property acquired that property, they removed a lot of the escalators and the stairs out of that building. So it is very dangerous to be in that building. Plus, because we're doing environmental remediation, you know that there's environmental contamination in that building. So we really are requesting that everyone in the community, if you see anyone on that site or accessing the site, please contact the police department so that they can go back and remove the individuals from the site. Contact us and we will make sure that the property is resecured. We continue to have significant dumping on the site, and that is another challenge because it's very expensive to continue to remove all of that debris from the site. So with community's assistance, we hope that we can start to mitigate some of the impacts from people breaking into the building as well as dumping just all kinds of materials on the site. So with that, if there are any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them as we go through the presentation.
Thank you, Miss Jackie. And so I just want to let everyone know we will have questions and Q&A at the end, the last 30 minutes of the presentation. So we'll save everybody questions to there to make sure we get through the rest of the content. And the other presenters are visitors and hosts, the visitors that we're hosting tonight. So let's please hold our questions until that. You can't put them in the chat, but we won't go through them until at the last 30 minutes of our time together today. So thank you so much, Miss Jackie. Again, I know that I'm pushing, and a lot of things that you all have been helping me work through, I do appreciate, especially because if people don't know, like me, coming into this process, a lot of these processes would happen one after the other serially. But because they've been accommodating, because they understand our urgency, because we're being more engaged, I'm trying to use nice words for my engagement, Miss Jackie. I could say nagging, but but because we've been more engaged, they're wanting to do things in parallel, like she says, with the remediation at the same time as we're going through that. We're looking at the feasibility, we're engaging with the community. So they are doing things in parallel so we can kind of compress this time schedule. It's not going to make everything happen overnight, but it will facilitate us getting some things done a little bit sooner. So again, thank you, Ms. Jackie, and thank you so much for being that arm of understanding and education for me insight into the Port Authority. As we have here, we have we're going to move on to Miss Susan. Miss Susan, are you out there?
Yes, I am. Hello, thank you for having me this evening.
Yes, so Miss Susan is here from Republic Waste, and she has an update for us, and she's just the messenger, everybody. She's the messenger, and I'm standing with her, but we're going to work through this. But Miss Susan, the floor is the virtual mic is passed to you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Webb. I certainly appreciate the opportunity to get in front of this service change, and we're excited. We were awarded the contract for District 2 when these 8 district contracts went out to bid last fall, and I think everybody should have they should have received a postcard from the county that was mailed by the county to the District 2 residents, letting them know we will start servicing District 2 trash, District 2 for trash and recycle starting the week of April 3rd. So with that flyer that went out from the county, there were just some very basic information, and that's including the services within the contract, which are the same as what you've had in the past, which is once a week trash, once a week recycle. Senior 65 and up, make sure you're taking advantage of a 10% discount. You also get bulky trash pickup at no additional charge once a month. And that's 2 items per month you can set out. And then you also get 3 times per year free yard waste collection. And details on both the bulky trash and the yard waste, as well as your service day, will be coming in a flyer from Republic Services. Actually, just finalized that at about 5 o'clock tonight and got it to the printer. And that will be in your mailbox. That should be there by probably the week of March 8th. So you will know what's in store. That brochure has a lot of information in it, how to reach us, information on our app, and just more detail on the contract as well, including the pricing. Do you want me to go ahead and address the pricing, Ms. Webb, or?
Yes, ma'am. Would you please?
Okay, sure. So the county postcard that came out did indicate the new monthly rate for service. which went up substantially. Again, I'm the messenger, but I do want to just prepare everybody. It is a $23 per month charge, and that was up from your $11.06. And I just want to explain as briefly as I can. I have about a 40-minute presentation on the topic, but I'm going to drill this down to like 4 minutes. And I explained to Ms. Webb this past week when we met, these contracts had not been bid for 5 years. And in 5 years, there were a lot of changes to the industry. And I've been doing this role. I manage city contracts for Republic Services in the St. Louis market. I've been in the role 12 years in a couple other locations as well. Business was pretty normal for about the first 6-7 years of this job, not a lot of disruption to the industry, but in the last 5 years since the last contracts were signed, a lot of things have caused us to step back, and we really had to take a look at the cost of doing business, okay? That included, you may have heard of China's sword. That came through in 2018 when China basically told the rest of the world, no more recyclables. You can't ship anything else here. Now, we weren't shipping a whole lot to China at that time, but nonetheless, we had to find other places to go, other places to take our commodities. The good news is we are keeping it all domestic now, so nothing is being shipped overseas, and the majority of it is within about an 11-state region, really in the greater Midwest. So that's exciting news that came out of China's sword, but it did create a huge ripple effect in the commodity market, which we rely on, of course, when we factor in pricing and other things for recycling service. So unfortunately, the commodity market took a huge hit with China's sword, and it's taking a very long time to recover. So that's a factor that came into play that you didn't have 5 years ago. Some other things are just, of course, we're all dealing with just so many different variations of what COVID is affecting, right? We're seeing higher inflation. We're finding, you know, we go to the grocery store and the shelf where we always grab, you know, our go-to items are empty. We're having trucking, you know, issues. We're having headwinds, both hiring drivers, hiring mechanics, just a lot of things that are going on. The pandemic also created a bit more weight as far as how we calculate pricing. Part of how we calculate pricing is estimating how many pounds of trash is each household in District 2 going to set out in a week's time. And with the pandemic, people staying at home, people working from home like me in my downstairs office here, we're generating more trash, you know, some trash from my office that may have gone, you know, to my office in Bridgeton, is now sitting out at my curb. So we've seen an increase in trash pounds at the curb. That causes an increase in cost. And then the other thing is just along with everything else, we're seeing increases in, you know, we're no different. We're not immune to any of that. Garbage trucks that cost, you know, $250,000 or $260,000 a piece about 6-7 years ago are now up well into the $300,000 range. So obviously that is all a cost to doing business. So I understand how upsetting it is to incur a price increase, especially when it's something that is contracted for you. What I want to emphasize is that every single district, all 8 unincorporated, you know, unincorporated municipalities that are formed into 8 trash districts, all 8 of them had a price increase. So it isn't specific just to District 2. I will say that you had the lowest rate of all 8 districts heading into this bid situation. So where some districts may have seen like a 62% increase in District 1, some may have seen only a 25% increase down in District 7, which I manage. You had the lowest rate to kind of start that process. So unfortunately, your rate is higher than some, but the pricing was really all reset with this new contract period. So I will try to wrap this up quickly. And what I want to say, first of all, can I get my email out to them, Miss Webb, or should I just tell them what it is? Okay.
Could you put it in the chat?
Yes, I will. I'll do that when I get done talking. When you get your brochure from Republic Services, look through that and know what is available to you in this contract. You know, make sure you're taking advantage of the bulk item pickup. If you have to, if you're cleaning out a room, or, you know, we're all been cleaning out closets during COVID. If you have bulk items to set out, you can set out 2 a month for free. Use that. You know, there's no reason to you know, obviously if it's trash, set it out. If it's something that can be donated, donate it, but make sure you're taking advantage of the free yard waste. Make sure you're setting out your trash cart weekly, your recycle cart weekly, because we count on you guys using those services. So please take advantage of what is being offered to you and what you'll be paying for. And I will put my email in the chat. I do want to say, the customer service team will not be set up to take calls for District 2 until like the last week in March. So if you have any questions that you feel like cannot wait and you want to reach out to me, just send me an email, and I will answer you as soon as, you know, as soon as I can. And then our brochure will give more information as far as if you need to change your cart size, if you need to sign up for a new senior discount. If you already get a senior discount, we got that information from Waste Management, so you'll continue to get that discount. Okay, if you already have yard waste service, you'll continue to get yard waste service with us unless you call to cancel, or if you want to call us and sign up for yard waste. So all of that will be in the brochure. So I appreciate this opportunity to be at this town hall, and just know I love to, Ms. Webb's used the word engage a few times tonight. One of my favorite words, I love to engage in the communities and municipalities I work with. And I have no doubt I'm going to get to know more constituents here of her constituents here in District 2, and I'm looking forward to meeting and speaking with as many of you as I can. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Susan. We greatly appreciate you being here. Yes, you will probably get lots of engagement from our community, but you'll be able to distinguish District 4 D4 family from everybody else, because even though we'll probably have some concerns and issues, we'll always be tactful and respectful. So I just want you to know, I appreciate you being here. We're trying to get in front of this. I would want to let everybody know our district is split into 2. So everybody's not going to be getting Republic service because we have 2 different providers. But we do want to let people know, like Ms. Susan said, that all of those, all services are going up no matter who's the provider. So we're not singled out here. And then I do have an ask of you, Ms. Susan. So if you have that brochure electronically, if you can send that to us, we'll put it in this presentation. So when we email this out to everybody and we put it on our on the website and things of that sort, they can kind of dig through it on their own time and see those details, just like Miss Jackie Wellington did for us.
That's a great point. I will send that to you here this evening. I do want to point out it's designed to be a tri-fold brochure. So if you see something printed upside down, it's not an error. When it gets all folded, it's like a huge 11 by 18, I think. So when it gets folded up and then mailed, it's just going to be self-mailed. So it looks a little wonky just to look at it on a computer screen, but I'll definitely send it over. It will look very nice once it hits your mailbox too.
No worries. And we'll probably do some snapshots, cut and paste and turn it around and rotate it so it can be readable to everybody.
Yeah, you could take out the mailing panel and things like that. That's a good point. Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll get that
Thank
to you
you
right now.
so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thanks.
Don't forget to put your email in the inbox. And remember, all District D4 family respectful and tactful, even though we have concerns.
So I thought I put it in, but it says it went to just the host.
Shantae's
Here,
the
I
host.
need to hit the drop down box. Never mind. I'll do the
drop down box to everyone. Okay.
All right. Here we go. I'll get it.
There we go. Thank you again. Good information, everybody. Again, we're trying to be proactive and intentional. Yes, ma'am. we want to make sure that you know. So Shantae's already flipped to the next slide. So everybody is like waiting like pins and needles for this conversation here. So again, we're going to go through the slides and we're going to have 30 minutes of conversation at the end. So Shalonda's going to talk even faster than usual. So let's talk about this grand ARPA funding that we received. And it's quite a bit of funds. Like I said, this is an unprecedented time that we've had this much money funneled to us to use to transform our communities. And so please, other than engagement, another word I want you all to take from here tonight is transformational. So ARPA funding is to do just that in our communities. As we recover from the pandemic, what do we need to make sure that not only we recover, but we transform our community going forth? And so what we have here is our consultants from Deloitte is who the county has consulted with to actually do compliance and program strategy for ARPA funding. So they are working right now. They're going to be putting out a survey. This survey will contain some of this information you're going to see here. But the pertinent thing about that is we need your feedback from that survey of what you think, what your thoughts are on how we should spend the ARPA funding. And so as you can read here, the county received $193 million from ARPA funding. We received $193 million from ARPA funding. But that is not what we have at our disposal at this time because of other expenditures. So Shantae's already flipped to the next slide. Shantae, go back to the previous slide real quick because I know everybody wants to see that, but want to make sure you're clear on what things are compliant for use of ARPA funds. And so I won't go through each one of those, but as you can see there, economic impacts, education and childcare, and workforce development. Those are some of the key things that I know our community needs, in addition to public health, because we have issues, and COVID only exacerbated and exposed more what we already knew, that there was a disparity between the health services for the people in our community compared to other communities. And so working through that and making sure that we put our funds in areas that would impact our community. So again, you can read through this in detail, but I just want to let you know that these are eligible funding for ARPA spending. Excuse my tongue tied. Now let's go to the next slide, Shantae. So other funds that were received by the county, of those $193 million that was received, some funds have already been appropriated. And if you watch the county meetings, you know where some of those funds went. So $50 million went to general fund to try to make the county government whole in its budget. $30 million has been appropriated to the health fund. Public health received an additional $10 million. Justice services, to account for those additional pay increases, was $5 million. Homeland Security received $5 million. COVID Vaccination Incentive Program received 261,000. The county counselor's office, our attorneys received 500,000. In administration received 500,000, excuse me. So when we add all of that up, of the $193 million, that leaves us approximately $90 million left to actually appropriate and provide some transformational programs in our communities. Now, the $50 million and the $30 million that was in general fund and the health fund, those have not been, they've been appropriated to those funds, but determining what is going to be spent or what would actually be used, what those funds would be used for, has not been decided. But that $50 million for general fund and the $30 million for public health fund, it's been appropriated to them, to that fund, but determining exactly what's going to happen with those funds has not been decided as of yet. But let's focus on that 90 million. So my thoughts on that 90 million is we have done what we needed to do to sustain the county. You see, this 90 million needs to go to the community. So how do we get that feedback from the community of what they need or what they think should be done? The one thing that we're going to do is send out a survey. And so that survey will be sent out within a week. I shouldn't say this week because tomorrow is Friday, but within a week, there's going to be a survey that goes out from the county. It's going to be on the county website. It's going to also be I'm going to make sure we have a link on our website and all of our social media platform. But wait, hold up. What about those who are not connected to social media? How they are part of our community, especially in my community, our community. So how are they going to get information? There are grassroots organizations, and you'll hear from one that's taking the lead and came to our office and say, Ms. Webb, how can we help? They are going to be doing that grassroots engagement and education. So when the survey hits, they've already started educating people on how to get engaged, how to get that feedback, how to make sure that we are proportionately represented in that feedback on how funds should be spent. ARPA funds should be spent, the remaining 90 million that we have. So with that being shared, I do believe we have Ms. Kelly. Are you there, Ms. Kelly?
Oh, she's hosting her.
Oh, so she's still in her meeting. So I'll go forth and speak on her behalf. So the next slide shows you the organization for Evolve. So Evolve is an awesome organization. It stands for Elevating Voices of Leaders Vying for Equity. And Ms. Kelly is a leader in the organization, and she has been engaged from the very beginning. She comes to county council meetings. She listens. She makes sure when it was safe, she made sure that she was engaged and present. And even now that we're virtual, she's still engaged. But she came to me and said, how can we help? And I said, if you can help me get the message out to our community. I mean, knocking on doors, dropping door hangers, giving pamphlets out that says, this is what ARPA funding is. These are the eligible expenditures that we can use ARPA funds. So our community is educated. So when that survey hits us within the week, we are ready to go. So they've been working on this flyer that you see before. And I really, really do love y'all. The slogan on the flyer says, a closed mouth don't get fed. So we will not be a closed mouth, D4. We will make sure that they hear our voice on what we need in our communities. So they're putting out this flyer along with information about what actually is ARPA funding and what can the funds be spent on. So wanted to make sure that you knew that was coming in a timeline for gathering this feedback. So once this survey hits, it's going to be out there for about a month for us to get feedback from everyone to make sure we consider their inputs. Please share. I'm gonna need us to be our brothers and sisters keepers. When you're talking to your girlfriends at the beauty shop or you in line at the grocery store, hey, I know I'm a Southern girl, so I talk and wave and speak to everybody. But when you're comfortable, hey, ask them if they know about the survey. Hey, have you gotten your ARPA survey? Did you turn it in yet? Even if it's just your friends and your family members that's out here in our community, hey, did y'all turn that in? That's important. I want to treat this like the census, because what happened when we don't speak up, we lose out. The census is evidence of that. When we don't engage, we lose out. And I think Evolve put it best. A closed mouth don't get fed. So let's not have a closed mouth, D4. District 4 family, hear me well. Not a closed mouth. Send it out when this hit the streets. I want you sending it out in your network. Like we post all those TikTok videos on Facebook. Post this on Facebook. If you want to, you can create a TikTok about the ARPA funding survey. Whatever we need to do to get us engaged. Just because we can't show up at every meeting, just because we can't be at 9 o'clock in the morning meetings or 1 in the afternoon meetings, that doesn't mean we don't care about our community. So this is what I know. Let's meet us where we are. And now we've got a team to do just that. So you'll see me knocking and dropping also to make sure everybody gets an opportunity to pass this information back in. All right, everybody, it is 7:20. Can't believe it, Shantae. Oh, I got another slide. Thought I was done. Okay. So we're about to get into questions and answers. So don't get tired of me yet. I know I've been talking a lot, but we're about to get in questions and answers. But I just want to make sure that we talk about some upcoming events. And so next Wednesday, I am having a Castle Point community meeting. And so I am engaging with the Castle Point residents. Again, we've been pouring into Castle Point, whether it was the Ring doorbells that we knocked on doors, and I partnered with the police department to get Ring doorbells on people's doors just to help deter the crime. And there is evidence that helps, that network of videos of what's going on in the community, whether it was disseminating coats and clothes to the children, whether it was the vaccination, a vaccination pop-up in the Castle Point Empowerment House, or whether it was the Castle Point Community Day. Well, we had worked with ESOP, Ethical Society of Police, an organization. Well, we came through there, we painted that home, we tried to do as best we could to address some of the issues of the home, and it turned out really, really nicely. We had an open house for that. We had music in the park. We had a petting zoo. So again, we're pouring in at Castle Point. And one thing I tell our team all the time, we don't want to just pop in and pop out. We want to be consistent so they know that this is not, again, a one and done situation. So we'll be meeting with Castle Point because there was some crime deterrence that happened within the last month. And we want to make sure when we put program and we put leadership in that area, that make sure that that crime doesn't return because there's a void. So we need to replace that void of crime with something positive. Okay. So we'll be talking about that at the next meeting in Castle Point as well. As also for the lighting district, we're going to get an update on the lighting district. I know I've been here a year, so I know it's been a whole year, and it was a few years before I got here, and we need to make sure that those lights get up in Castle Point. So we'll get a report from that team as well. And so it'll be quite a bit of information for Castle Point. Again, that's next Wednesday. It's a virtual meeting. So if you live in the Castle Point area, please, please, please tune in. That will be also advertised on our social media. And we've also been working with the leaders in their community to make sure that they know that we're working in conjunction to make that happen. Another announcement that I wanted to share with you all, and so I put this out before, it's on our website, on our newsletter. We want to make sure there are plenty boards and commissions throughout St. Louis County government that are not filled and don't have representation from District 4. And if you want to be engaged, if you want to pour back into the community, if you want to make sure that they're not passive about North County, that there is representation for us, please go to that list. It's plenty. It's more than you can imagine. Please go to that website and look up exactly what are those boards, what are the purpose of those boards, how do they serve the community, and find a match. If there's a skill set that you have that you want to share their gift with, find a match. If there's something you don't know that you want to work in their capacity, go take a look. It's an opportunity for us to be represented and to be represented well. So I want you to be engaged and have those opportunities to lead. It's not about Shalonda being the councilwoman. It's us in this together. And the more representations we have on all these boards, the more our voices will be heard and the more diverse it will become in solutions to some of the issues that we need throughout county government. And lastly, the Web Force teams. And so we had a meeting in January to kick off the Web Force teams. These are small community teams, small teams that's in our district that's focusing on from beautification to public safety, to economic development, and also our youth. And I am wanting to focus, not that all of our youth are not important, so please, D4 family, hear me well. All of our youth are important, but there is a group that we have to work for and work to save and work with them, listen to them, and that is Black males ages 18 to 26. Black males ages 18 to 26. We have to give them a voice. We have to listen to their voice. And so there are initiatives in our youth engagement that's going to focus exactly on them. So if you are not a part of a Web Force team, and again, it's just 5 or 6 teams, please go to that site and sign up. We would like to kick off and start having those individual meetings and start identifying our signature programs that we want to instantiate through these teams. Again, Shalonda can't do it by herself. And I know I'm not in this by myself because I have each and every one of you. So thank you, thank you, thank you for going to each one of those links to say, we're here. We're going to be counted. We're at the table. My grandmother always said, if you at the table, it should not be status quo. It should be different. So we're giving you a chair at the table so we can make sure that we make a difference, transformational differences in our community. So with that being shared, Shantae, did I miss anything? Any announcement?
However, someone did.
I'm sorry, you're going in and out. What'd you say?
I said no, ma'am, but someone did ask for an update on the zoo, but we didn't include that.
Okay, so I don't have a exact update, and I will have that. Maybe we can get a slide or two to add to this presentation. But I know that they were putting up fencing. They were starting on a certain property line. That was in a meeting that was in Spanish Lake Association meeting where Dr. Joelle came and gave an update. But I will reach out to her and ask her for an update and include it in this packet so you all can go through it and get those details directly. Okay, if I didn't miss anything, that is a miracle. But Shantae is a great partner in this, and so she keeps me ready and prepared, and we work together well. If there is nothing that I missed, Shantae, I'm ahead of schedule. Like we got a full 4 minutes before 7:30, but we can jump into questions and answers. So are there specific questions that you grab from the chat, Shantae? Or is there individuals that can verbalize or be brought forward so they can ask questions?
Things. There are quite a few. If you have a question that you would like to verbally discuss, please note in the chat box, I have a question. Unfortunately, if you're on a phone, that we're not going to be able to do that, but do that, and then I will have the host pull you up to ask your question. But we'll start with all of these in the chat box. So Ms. Jackie, what type of remediation challenges does the site have? Let me turn on my video. I don't want to be rude.
Most of the contamination in the property is asbestos containing building materials.
President of Castle Point was talking about street lights that will be addressed in the meeting that's next Wednesday. I did retrieve your email address, and I will be sending you a link for that because there will be an update from the Streetlight District on there. 1 second, let me go down to the next one. Are you saying everyone is not paying the same monthly amount for trash? What is the cost when yard waste is not free? I don't know, Miss Susan, if you want to give it towards your particular case.
Sure. So good
I'm
question.
sorry, Miss Susan. Also, what is considered bulk pickup too?
Okay, so so first of all, regarding pricing, the 8 districts are bid independently of each other. So there are variances to district, right? One district has only 6,000 homes. One district has 13,500 homes. So a lot of variance, right? That larger district is going to require more assets. It's going to require more trucks, more drivers, more carts. There's always going to be a variance, and it doesn't mean it's going to be always a lot more expensive to be in a bigger city. That's not what I'm saying. There's just a lot of variances. How far away is it from our site? Does our driver have to drive 25 miles to get to the first stop on his route, or does he have to drive only 10 miles? There's a lot that comes into play into pricing. But to your question, no, not everybody pays the same among all of 8 districts, but all of District 2, all of the each district pays the same. It's the same contract. And as far as what is considered bulk, that will be in the brochure that's coming your way. We have some examples, but it's basically like furniture, right? You think about mattresses, box springs, things like dressers, couches, chairs, furniture. I encourage anyone, if you need to unload some furniture or things like that, if they're still in good shape, to try to either get them to Goodwill, or if you can find a local church or somebody that would need it, instead of it hitting a landfill. Anything you put out as bulk goes into our truck and goes into a landfill. So think about that before you throw it out. But if you do have things you need to get rid of that just aren't reusable, go ahead and you'll have the opportunity to get rid of like I said, 2 items per month are included in the cost of your trash service.
Thank you. Why can't we have the option of which trash service we want as in St. Charles? I think the answer to that, Ms. Susan, did you want to answer, or do you want me to go ahead and answer?
If I can, if you want to, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So first of all, St. Charles, that's kind of a broad thing. The city of St. Charles has a contract with us. So every resident and multifamily building in the city of St. Charles is serviced by Republic Services. Now, I think what is being referred to is what we call in the industry an open market, which is where you can pick your own hauler, and so can your neighbor, and so can your neighbor's neighbor. It's not a very cost-effective way to do business. And actually, prices in open markets are substantially higher than in the county where we do recycle, and that are typically substantially higher than anything under a municipal contract. And I'll try not to get on a soapbox, but I live on a street. I live over in Alton, and my town, I'm just outside of Alton and Godfrey. We are open market. I have 20 homes on my street, and we have 3 different trash trucks going up and down our street every week. It would be much better, more cost effective, environmental wise, to not have 3 different trucks on our street, the wear, the tear, and things like that. So if you take one street and think about that in the breadth of an entire municipality, how much more effective it is to have one hauler picking up everybody instead of 5 or 6 or 7 haulers up and down streets all over the place, even from a safety perspective. If you have kids playing basketball in the driveway, like I did as a kid, things like that, you don't want 6 or 7 trash trucks going by, right? If your trash is picked up on Thursday on your street, then you're only going to see that truck on Thursday, not every day of the week, a different truck. So, Shantae, is that close to how you were going to answer that?
Yes. Additionally, in St. Louis County, each municipality and subdivision made a decision as to whether
Right.
they wanted to enter into a county situation or have their own. Because I think Councilwoman Webb, you have that in your neighborhood, don't you?
Yes, I was just going to share. So I live in Barrington Downs, and we're even right now considering, hey, let's take a vote that we all use the same trash services, because this is exactly what Miss Susan saying. We have trash trucks coming every day of the week, and it impacts not just picking up the trash, but the roads and everything, because of the heavy trucks just going up and down the streets all the time. And so I see a benefit of having one service for the whole area. So yes,
It is determined by your
That-
subdivision, your political subdivision.
it is determined by our subdivision.
So as far as Jamestown, we've met numerous times, hired consultants, resulting in failed efforts. It seems like we continue to pay consulting fees and planning with little results. I don't know if that's a question, but I wanted to say it out loud in case Ms. Jackie, you want to say something?
The port authority, this port authority that owns the property just came into positions about 2.5, 3 years ago. What happened prior to that? This is a different body. It's a new port authority. Any studies or things that were done in the past, I mean, at this point, they're outdated. They're not usable. So the port felt that it was incumbent upon them to get current information that will provide them with a base of information for making decisions moving forward.
And if I can elaborate, thank you, Miss Jackie. So I understand our community, and Miss Jackie does too. She lives in our community. I understand the skepticism of, we've been doing this time and time again. I mean, I can think back to 2011 when I did it and participated in the same thing, and they've had multiple ones before, multiple engagements before. What's different this time? Um, one, our community leaders. Two, you being engaged. I know, because I say it all the time too, I don't need another study. Please don't ask me for another study. But if that's what it's going to take to make sure that we get the ball rolling properly and we stay pushing it forward, okay, let's do it. If we can't move forward without doing it, let's do it and get it over with so we can press. And so uh, as they've explained to me, you can't, those studies that's been 10 years old, they're not viable anymore, Shalonda. You can't use those. And so in order for us to make sure that we have all our ducks in a row, dotted I's and crossed our T's, let's do it again. But this time we're not gonna stop with just a study. Until y'all get rid of me, I'm not gonna stop nagging people about Jamestown Mall. So y'all got about 3 more years of me before it's over with. So Miss Jackie, know that I'll stay there. Thank you, Shantae. Next question.
Youth program located in Spanish Lake throughout St. Louis County that's been affected by COVID-19. How can we utilize this program more effectively for youth?
So I'm not sure who that question came from, but thank you. Mm-hmm. So I am a strong reuse person as an engineer, a software engineer. We don't call it cheating when you copy other people's code. We call it reuse. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel. If there's existing programs, let's make sure they have the resources they need to sustain and to grow and be better. And not just money resources, but people, mentors, volunteers. Let's help them out to make sure that they can be successful as well. I know COVID knocked a lot of things out of water, but we have to start back up again. And so what does that look like? I don't have all the answers. That's why we got a team. And that team, again, doesn't have to reinvent the wheel. Let's connect with the existing program in Spanish Lake and where we can leverage off of one another in our resources. So I don't know. I didn't see the person's name, but please, 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 Shantae, make sure we get connected with them with our actual Wellforce youth engagement team.
Yes, please sign up. The next one is the section of I-270 from the Missouri-Illinois border to approximately Page needs to be cleaned on a regular basis. Tires, car part, weeds are common along the median. I spoke with David, the superintendent of this section. I understand his manpower and equipment limitations. I see this as a MoDOT issue. If necessary, resources need to be directed to clean up this section. Yes, Lord.
I can say I 100% agree with you, team community member, because we see the trash. We've been out there picking it up ourselves, and we've talked. I know there are members in the Spanish Lake community. There are members throughout this district that are doing it on their own. I mean, there's one lady. That's just her cadence, her battle rhythm every week on Sunday morning. She get up and she go pick up trash around her neighborhood. Why does she have to do that? I'm sorry that is the case. Yes, they need more resources. Yes, they need, and it's not just a money resource. They need people. It is a challenge in every industry to find and hire people to do this job. And so to do all the jobs. And so we want to partner with them. I know the leader that I was once engaged with has moved on, but we will partner with them again because I think we need a whole campaign about stop littering. I mean, how deflating is it when we're on the exit of the interstate and we picked up all that trash off of West Florissant and 270, and then you get in your car and you headed home and somebody throw a whole bag, not one chip, not one piece of trash, but a whole bag of trash out their window. That to me is something that we have to work on as individuals as well. So it can't just be volunteers keep repeating, clean it up, clean it up, clean it up. It's got to be some consequences to that. And so I know police are full with other opportunities, but maybe we can put together a littering campaign that would address that directly.
What happened to the work that was done by Representative Gray? It seems like we're starting over.
So I am the previous representative, so I'm not for certain what happened to their work. I won't speak on something I don't know. We didn't really have an exchange of changing of color guards there to have an opportunity to say, these are the things that I've worked on. If you want to champion those to move forward, there was a olive branch reached out to try to do those things, but that didn't happen. So I'm so sorry. I can't tell you what happened to those efforts, but I can tell you what we're doing going forward. I don't, and if there are any specific topics or efforts that you're referring to, maybe you can share those with me, and then I can go do my due diligence and research to find out where they are. But nothing was passed on to me to continue or to follow through on.
Shameless
But
plug.
again, if you have anything specific, please let me know.
Shameless plug from my former mayor back when I was in high school in the city of Berkeley, Bill Miller, who is now a council member of Blackjack. This is related to Jamestown. As a councilman in Blackjack, we've discussed options that formally were not presented initially, but they do talk to their city officials. Generally, it's what they don't want. We love to provide some thoughts. Is there going to be, I guess the question is, there going to be input from the electeds in the area?
Yes, thank you for asking that question. And that was not a setup, everybody. This is a question. So check this out. On Friday, so a month ago, well, maybe it's been about 3 weeks to a month, we sent out an invitation to all our elected officials in the District 4 area. So that's the mayor of Blackjack, that's the mayor of Hazelwood, the mayor of Bellefontaine, and the mayor of Florissant. In addition to our mayors, I also reached out to our state elected officials. So that will be all of our state reps,
Senator?
Representative Neil Smith, Representative Alan Gray, Representative Jay Mosley, Representative Marlene Terry, and Senator Angela Mosley. I reached out to all of those elected officials to say, can we come together and work collaboratively on priorities for North County? So what I'm trying to get at, everybody, is I feel like it's so much happening and the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. And again, if we work together, we can make a greater impact. So I'm not trying to tell people what to do. I'm asking us to come together and give their ideas, legislation that they're working on. Talk to me about any initiative that we can work on to say, okay, let's look at the priorities that came from the survey or your feedback of food insecurities or economic development, any of those things. Do you have legislation that is working towards this? Is there some type of letter campaign I can help you with? So last fall, at the end of the fall, I asked all the mayors and everyone to help me with Jamestown Mall to write letters to the governor and say, Governor, we need some help. And I am so grateful for Blackjack and Bellefontaine. They did just that in Florissant, that we worked together. I had an opportunity to have the governor's attention yesterday at the MML Missouri Municipal League conference, where we got a chance to talk, and I got his audience based upon that. You know, he's like, I did receive your letters, Councilwoman Webb. I do want to work and partner with you in your communities. So getting back to the original question, yes, sir. I have put, or ma'am, I'm not sure who asked the question.
Sir.
Yes, sir. I have reached out to our state elected officials. All the mayors have responded saying we're going to be there for together on tomorrow at 10 o'clock a.m. and it will be a public meeting, so you can actually view it from our web. I think Shantae is going to put it on YouTube or one of those channels. In addition to that, so I asked them to send I gave them some homework. Y'all know I'm a nerd. I'm like, okay, we need some pre-work. Don't come here empty-handed. I need to know what legislation you're working on. I need to know what initiatives you're working on to make sure that we can stay in sync with some of our priorities. And so what I've asked them to do is to provide that up front so we're prepared for tomorrow. I did receive feedback from Representative Marlene Terry that said she could not be in attendance. However, she sent me a letter that gave me the details of the things that she's working on. So even in her absence, her voice will be heard because she sent me that feedback. I've asked that of all of our representatives and our senator. And unfortunately, I have haven't received that from the others. But I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue to reach out and say we have to work together to benefit our community. So yes, sir, that will be a meeting on tomorrow at 10 a.m., 10 to 12.
Hi, my dream of lights on dark streets, sidewalks, money to repair homes, updated, welcome to Spanish Lake. That's a comment. And will Coldwater Creek be taken care of to prevent future issues?
Don't get me started on Coldwater Creek. Yeah.
Well, say it quick,
So
because
listen up.
we want to get through the rest of the questions.
Listen up, everybody. So one of the initiatives that we wanted to do to address food insecurities was to take one of the parks that was land that was donated to us called Schaefer Bend Park, I believe the name of it, and turn it into a neighborhood farm, not just a garden, but a full farm with a tree orchard and grapes and root vegetables, all of those things, buildings so we can do some canning classes, some educational classes so the students around the area, a playground that was farm theme. I mean, we had a site map and everything. We did soil testing and it came back, we're all good. And then we see this article in the Post-Dispatch in December saying the Army Corps of Engineers won't be finishing their testing until 2038. Not 2028, 2038. And so I don't have an end game. I have reached out to the Army Corps of Engineers and FOOSRAP to ask them for a meeting just so I can get a full understanding, because we thought we were doing our due diligence. We did soil sample testing for 72 spots on the land that we wanted to go forth on, and everything came back fine. But now we're getting a report that's saying, oh, we won't be finishing with this testing until 2038. So I'm hoping that they respond to my request for a meeting. I have reached out to Representative Doug Clemens. He and I talked. He's the guru of the area, excuse my layman terms, to talk about the issues at Coldwater Creek. I hope that I reached out to him because I feel like he can help me get that audience. Hopefully we'll get that feedback soon. But yeah, the infamous Coldwater Creek. And I got to say this. I know you said be short, be quick, Shantae. But I got so emotional when I got that report back from the parks director that I couldn't even finish the meeting because, don't tell people I cried, Shantae.
Cried,
but
y'all.
anyway, I just feel like, wait a minute. You took out pass from us because you marketed and did things that exploited us for a certain amount, basically exploited us, but you made $1 on it. And now you're trying to prevent us from having a future. And I got frustrated, and I had to take a moment and pray and ask God to give me peace and to calm my spirit. But you got to do better by us than this. And it's not going to be acceptable to they'll get over it and be passive with us. That's no longer acceptable. Not as long as I have this opportunity to serve our community. And so again, Coldwater Creek, still working on it. Hopefully somebody is sending this video and they'll respond to my request to have a meeting. So
how are these ARPA funds resources being shared with vendors who look like the community being served? There are plenty of Black organizations, companies, groups that are capable of supporting / contributing to change. Seems like settling for the minimums for minority participation disproportionately disinfecting Black groups locally is unfair. I am in support of equity, but as much money that is being floated around, we need to make sure as much money as possible is being retained and distributed literally into the community it's being served.
1,000% agree with you. There's no other way I can say that. I 1,000% agree with you. It's not about being equal, it's about equity. And North County has gotten the short end of the stick for a long, long time. And that is why when I talk to my peers on the council, and plenty of them understand where I'm coming from, some of them are like, Lord, don't let it get started. But in either case, they feel us, they understand. And I'm glad that they feel us and they understand. And now I need them to take actions behind those feelings and understanding. And so putting programs forth that will create equity to deal with the disparity, whether we had disparity from the digital divide to the healthcare that's provided in our community. We have to do those things. And so that's why I'm harping on getting this feedback from the survey. So you can't say, oh, well, we didn't really get any feedback from there, so, we have to do this. No, no, no. We are here. We will not have a closed mouth. We will be fed this time. And so I'm with you. I understand that we are working on programs. Even with the MWBE programs, we're working to expand that. And we understand things are big in it. And this is government, because people say, Shalonda, you got to understand, this is government. I understand. Government does not mean incompetent. And we need to change that with evidence of actions of what we do. And so I'm driving them crazy, but they understand. And I'm asking them for actions to create that equity. Next question, Shantae.
There was a question, I'm sorry, that came over my text message. Let me let me pull it up. Hold on one second.
Lord, they had a cell phone number, Shantae. Okay.
So good people love me,
Yeah,
so I guess Republic Services has had some issues in Fenton and Florissant and other counties where trash was not picked up in weeks. I'm assuming the question is how is that going to be different from what was on in these other areas? Apparently there's a new Channel 4 news thing about your company. So can you elaborate on that?
Are you referring to last night?
I'm just reading the text message. Pull up Channel 4 news.
I was on Channel 4 last night, very briefly, like don't blink, you'll miss it. I'm not aware of service issues. We are fully staffed, and I'm looking up, sorry, I'm like cruising around on my, we don't service the city of Fenton. I'm wondering if they have us confused with another hauler. That is serviced by, I'm looking it up here, sorry. Who services them? It's not us. It's not us. Okay. So, we don't service the city of Fenton, so I can't speak to any service issues there. And we also don't service the city of Florissant. So, those are different haulers. They are not Republic Services. We actually are fully staffed. That's what the Channel 4 had an episode last night about the city of St. Louis and them being short-staffed and unable to pick up recycling. And that's been going on for about 7 months. Fortunately, we're staffed, and actually we had to hire 6 drivers to cover the District 2 contract. And we already have those drivers hired and in training. So we're actually in pretty good shape service-wise. So Fenton and Florissant are not ours.
Aaron Cookie Mitchell. This question. Hold on one second. Coldwater Creek. Not to be like Detroit Power Line. I'm sorry, this little window is very small because they don't want Coldwater Creek to be like the Detroit Power Line. And they would like to have updated electronic signs, welcome to Spanish Lake. So, okay, and they need lights on dark roads. Councilwoman Webb, can you talk about the street lighting initiative?
So there is a street lighting initiative, very similar. We're trying to expand it to different areas like the lighting district in Castle Point. We want to expand that to other areas throughout our district as well. And so we're getting people information on how to get engaged and participate in those programs. It can't all be handled by one entity, but if we can divide and conquer, making sure that they know where those needs are and how they can be facilitated through the street lighting districts, we can address those issues as well. So what I'm getting at is we're going to need some engagement and buy-in from the community, and to put those teams together to actually take advantage of the opportunities like the street lighting district provides. Is there another question, Shantae? Because I have 2 things I can't
Look at you, you're done. Look at us, we on time. All right.
Okay.
Nice.
Don't do that, Shantae. Don't do that. Let me tell. There were 2 other things that we didn't talk about that I want to just bring to your attention real quick, D4 family. So there has been an initiative that I've been working with Councilman Tracus on since last fall. It's for the Problem Properties Unit. And so what we've done is pull in entities from all other different departments. Anybody that can solve a problem when it comes to problem property units. So if that's the municipal courts, that's the counselor's office, the attorney's office, that's human services, that is Department of Health, the police department. We have all stakeholders on the team. And the whole purpose was so we know what each one of them contributes to when we're addressing a problem property issue. We want to be able to say, hey, we have this issue. It came to this team. This is the process that we're going to go through. Two of the big issues that we're addressing is derelict properties and tearing down homes throughout the district. Again, we did a tour. Some of this sounds like a broken record, but we did a tour. Councilman Tracus and I, Shantae drove the van. We did a tour. We walked, we ran, came through North County in District 4. We went to South County in District 6. And we looked at all of the issues that we had. Came back to the table. It just was myself and Councilman Tracus in the truck. We had, again, the police in there in the van. We had all of the department heads in the van to say, how are we going to tackle this? So we have come up, we worked on in 6 months. Each department gave a presentation on this is what we can do. This is how we can help in the municipal courts. This is how we can hold people accountable. This is how we can keep this from being a reoccurring problem when they're doing dumping, illegal dumping. And so we are working, we've been working together, and we're working for the end of this month to come up with this, bring everything together in this comprehensive plan to make sure that we address those two big issues, derelict properties, and dumping, as they talked about at Jamestown and also in other regions, in other communities. And so I want to let you all know about that because that's going to impact us. And so we can use ARPA money to get rid of some of those homes, or we can use some other grant program. That's what we're going after. So I really wanted you all to be aware of that. It took some time in the making, but we worked diligently to get this done. And so hopefully we'll have something, not hopefully, we will have something to present to you all, to our communities, the next time we come together for a town hall. So hold me accountable to that. I'm excited about that because I feel like that can be transformational. We can hold people accountable of how they come into our communities, how they treat our communities, and our neighbors be accountable for taking care of their properties in the surrounding areas as well. Other than that, that was the only other thing that I had because we talked about the state legislature and elected officials meeting that's tomorrow at 10 a.m. So I do not have
comprehensive
anything else.
plan is due next week, Councilwoman. That for
Yes,
both
ma'am.
districts.
Next Friday.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So we'll have something before the next time we get together, everybody. District 4 family, I love you. Because I serve you all, I put my whole heart into it. Because some people think, oh, it's just a delayed decision. Oh, we don't have to make a decision on that till later. Oh, well, we'll just wait. I know that wait means that someone in my community is disproportionately impacted by that, whether that's through health services, whether that's through garbage services, whether that's whether that's a street light that's been out for months and months and months. So I get up every morning thinking about, okay, after I think about praying and eating, I want to exercise, but sometimes I don't make that happen. But I think about, sincerely, everybody, what can I do to make people feel and understand why we are important? What can I do to make people understand if North County prospers, so does all of St. Louis County? We need to make sure that we work together to fight for North County's future. And then we can let the rest of the county know how they benefit because we are benefiting, because we are prospering. Keep me accountable. Stay in contact. Shantae does a phenomenal job when you all call with issues and constituent care. I have to give her props and shout outs for that. I know that so many of you all have so many details and so many ideas. Please keep sending them to me. I just saw a question run across about the Rams funding. I don't know if I want to touch that.
Yeah, Rams money. And absentee landlords regard derelict properties. I think you just addressed that. We'll have a
Yeah,
board.
we're working on that in problem property. So the Rams, they got a board. They're gonna work in splitting up their money, and I'm gonna leave that at that. Um, but again, thank you all. I really appreciate you. Keep emailing me, keep calling me. Oh, just because you don't get a call back directly from me within the same day or 24 hours, you got to give me grace. I do call people back when they say, I want to talk to her. Shantae, I need to talk to Shalonda. I make sure she give me my homework packet and I make sure I contact them. Sometimes it has to be on a Sunday though, everybody, because only so many hours in a day. But thank you for that grace and allowing me to get back to you. Shantae, you got your hand up.
Please go to the newsletter link and sign up for the newsletter so that every time it's updated, you'll receive it. We update it at least once a month. Also, please follow her on Facebook. But let's talk about YouTube really, really quickly. She really don't like YouTube, but at the end of the day, all of our recordings go to the YouTube channel. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we get enough subscribers, we can go live and do a live feed from YouTube, which will help in us to be able to go back and forth a little bit more with folk who don't necessarily, if we can't use the WebEx platform. So, or if we're having a live town hall, we can do a live stream. So if you subscribe to the channel, then we'll be able to also live stream at the same time. But please sign up for the newsletter. And here's our information. And oh, I'm sorry, Pastor Lily, I'm gonna call you after this.
Everybody, have a great night. Thank you for spending your time with us. I hope it was value added. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I love you, D4 family. Take care and stay safe. Good night, everybody.